So it's been about 6 months since I've done any cabinet installation, but here I am, I'm back on the horse, and I'm facing one of the most difficult things that a cabinet installer can come across, and that is fitting a wood deck in between 3 walls, so there's no room for air. So stay tuned, I'm going to be showing you how to fit this absolutely perfectly, or we're going to witness abject failure, embarrassment, and great shame. So now there's a bunch of ways that you could go about fitting this. My preferred method is to make a template. To do that, I have some 1/8" plywood strips. So to get the template started, you need to measure the front and the back opening and then cut the pieces accordingly. As well, you need to cut some cross pieces. We'll probably do 3 cross pieces here that come out with the inch overhang. So to measure these perfectly, the distance here, I like to just do like a 2-part measurement. I'll come along, make a mark at 50 inches, measure this way, 63 13/16. So I'm going to cut up the pieces for the template, and then we'll come back and I'll show you a quick method on how to put the template together without taking all day. So I've got all the pieces cut. What you're going to want to do is label them all. You do not want to put the wrong piece together in the wrong spot. Otherwise you're going to be totally screwed. So label them all. I even put a little arrow. This side goes to the wall. So for this back wall, there's a huge bow in the wall. It's going to require a decent amount of scribing. Now you can get these fancy scribing tools. I have a couple of them. I don't really use them that much. There's a little bit of flex and they're kind of hard to adjust, but I prefer to just use a shim. So I've cut one on my saw that is kind of the same width as this biggest gap that we have on the back wall. So now kind of square up this, and then just come along and trace out your scribe mark. The camera made me do that. And now for the side wall, there's not much of a gap at all. I got one of these little chunks of arborites that I use as shims. This is about a 32nd, so that'll be fine for the side wall. So I've got all the pieces marked out for the contours of the wall. The next step is to sand those down to the lines. To do that, you can use a belt sander, orbital sander. I have a little mini disc grinder hooked up to my vacuum. So the pieces are all sanded down. Now there's no shame in doing them a couple times. If you don't get it right the first time, just keep tweaking them till they fit nice and tight. Because the wood top, you really only have one chance. You're not going to be wanting to put this thing in and pull it out and put it in and pull it out. You're going to just destroy the walls if you do that. So I'm going to show you quickly how to put this thing together. What I like to use is just some Stay Put. This is just contact cement spray. You can use a hot glue gun as well. Those are kind of 2 of the best options. So with this spray, just go ahead and get everything pushed to where it's going to be. And then I'll mark out the pieces here. And we're just going to assemble the back part and then we'll glue on the front after. So yeah, when it comes to spraying this stuff, your best bet is to have a little piece of cardboard or some foam just so it doesn't get everywhere. So yeah, with this Stay Put stuff, it takes about only 30 seconds for it to dry and then it's ready to go. You'll know that the contact cement's dry when you can touch it and it's not sticking to your finger. This side here is a little wet still. I just sprayed. So yeah, that's dried up now. So what you're going to want to do is just put this thing together, but you need to make sure that you're getting it tight to the wall as you're setting it in place. And then just put a little bit of pressure on that seam so it'll stick together. The middle one, not as critical. And then we'll go ahead and glue on the front piece. And when it comes to gluing on the front, I've cut these pieces to length, so we're just going to line up these 2 edges. I've cut the front slightly short, and we're going to want to just push these side pieces tight. And I actually might just throw a couple of little shims in here, just so this isn't going to glue together while I'm fitting the one side. So those shims are going to keep it apart. we'll get this. So just push this side tight, right to the front edge there. And then before you get the middle squared away, just come over to this other side here. So now just push that tight into the wall. There we go. Take this out, push the middle together. It's fitting very nicely. It's time to cut the wood top down. So I'm gonna show you how to do that outside. So we're outside here with the wood deck. Now because this is a dark wood, I'm gonna recommend using some kind of a light painter's tape. I have this green stuff. It's nice, the pencil mark shows up nicely on there. And with this tape, when you're installing it, you wanna just roll it down so it's sticking quite nicely to the board. Otherwise, when you go to cut or sand it, the tape will just peel off along with your pencil mark. So now for the template, in order to get the mark on there nicely, you're gonna wanna clamp it down to the workpiece. Otherwise it could shift around and that's no good. So get that lined up with the front edge. Now take your pencil and mark it out. I like to use the number B pencils. These pencils are pretty sweet. I'll put a link for them. Whatever. And then when it comes to marking the face of the wood top, just take a square and then square down from where the mark left off. So now that's all grinded down. Important thing to mention here, take a sanding block and just break all the edges that you've sanded, because as you push this thing into place, these little edges can chip if you don't give them a little bevel. So it's just a very light little bevel. And then as well, in this corner here, just round that corner a little bit, because the drywall is never perfectly square. And then as well, on this bottom edge, I'm gonna put this thing in kind of like left edge first and then drop the right edge down. So over on this right edge, this bottom piece of the front edge is gonna wanna dig into the wall. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sand that. Hopefully we don't end up gouging the hell out of the wall, but it's pretty likely that we will. Let's see how it goes. So we're back inside, the piece is all sanded down. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know if this is gonna fit. It looks like it's fitting okay. It's not quite going down all the way. This corner's digging in a little bit. Yeah, if I force that, it's probably gonna damage the wall. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a little prop and I'm gonna spread this wall apart a little bit and that should drop right into place. So we're back. I've got a couple pieces along the wall cut. I'll put this down, not so I don't damage the top. And now if you had a 2x4, it'd probably work better, but all I have is this plywood. So what we're gonna try to do, wedge this wall over and drop this thing into place. Ooh, that sounded good. Bang, bang, that thing fell right down into place. It's looking like it's fitting pretty good. Pretty proud of myself. So the fit turned out beautiful. As it turns out, I'm not a fraud. And if you want to learn some other cool cabinet tricks, check out this video right here. We'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Strip on the back, strip on the front. So